What is good, my gamers? We're back with another new player experience, this time for Albion Online, developed by Sandbox Interactive. If you have ever even so much as looked at an image of RuneScape in the past, then you'd feel right at home with this game. Albion looks and feels a lot like other top-down MMOs out on the market currently, but what sets it apart is this gameplay feeling more modern and polished in terms of the grind and look and feel of the game overall. I personally felt a lot of enjoyment while grinding and unlocking all the new abilities and weapons while the game was fresh and figuring out all the necessary materials needed for crafting. I have always enjoyed the early leveling experiences of MMOs because of all the mystery and wonder going into a fresh undiscovered world. It always feels so cool. These new player experiences are so important to a game's life in the long run, whether or not they make an impression on the gamer, leaving them totally hooked and wanting to come back again and again. So this is my new player experience of Albion Online in 2023. Let's go, babe! Right off the bat, we got the character creator. Albion overall is going for a really minimalistic, simple, and clean artistic direction, and his character creator is no different than that. It's very basic and only has a very few options for each detail of your avatar, but it works for the most part. For me personally, a character you create in an MMO is very important, and getting the right aesthetic and look that you personally vibe with is crucial in making a good impression, retaining your attention as a player, and making you want to continue playing in the first place with the intent of seeing how cool and badass you can make your character at the end. Albion has a bit of that. I did like my character's aesthetic and overall progression, but for me personally, the limiting field of view / camera angle in top-down games has never been my personal favorite, specifically because of the lack of immersion you feel while playing these games. I don't know what it is about me, but I've always enjoyed a third-person game where the camera is focused behind the player and you get to see more of the world around you and feel as though you are truly in the shoes of the character you are playing. The world of Albion is a true sandbox game, one in which the player has many different activities and options they can choose to focus on doing, whichever they happen to find more enjoyable at the time. Basically, immediately when you complete the tutorial, you are given complete and utter freedom to spend your time in Albion doing whatever the hell you like. There's no hand holding or telling you what you should do or what you should work towards next. The game has minor milestones and goals to work towards, but it's all equipment and gear based. This can be a positive and a negative, because sometimes I want to grind hard without a goal in mind, endlessly kill stuff while listening to some good music or whatever. But other times, I would prefer to have some sort of major goal or direction I should be following. It's not Albion's fault or anything. Some prefer the structure of gameplay, but I just find myself getting lost and not knowing what to do, spending the rest of my eternity cutting down some low-level logs, The combat is a form of tab targeting in a top-down setting similar to other games in the same genre such as Lost Ark, RuneScape, or maybe even a bit of Diablo, but a lot simpler and having less abilities to cast per class or weapon. What's interesting is Albion doesn't have a traditional class system. You are what you wear. Meaning the abilities you use during combat are locked and fixed to certain weapons, and experimenting to find your playstyle and what you like to wield is where a lot of the fun comes from. I tried out a few different types of weapons, but I ended up working my way to the dual blade. And what can I say, man? I like being a speedy, stabby boy. It's a little annoying respecting into another skill tree in this game, because you basically have to go back to using the crappier weapons of the archetype that you want to learn how to use and start leveling up your proficiency in that weapon, and it can sort of become tedious. But I still enjoy fighting new weapons out and testing them out as I got them. Out and about while exploring the world, you can discover these dungeons across the map. There are two different types from what I saw. There could be more, I'm not sure. The solo dungeon and the group dungeon. Solo dungeons being able to be cleared by just one solo player. But strangely, while you're in there, you can see other players who are not in your party. I don't know, it's really confusing at first. And the group dungeons are absolutely disgusting. And you really need to be in a full group to clear these boys. Me and my friend, we tried to tough it out together and we got completely destroyed. It's also strange in the group dungeon, you can still also see other players and parties walking around. And you can even defeat a boss together. But at the end, you don't share the loot. I guess you need to all form up into one single group. It's really strange and not really explained very well from what I can tell. It's also sad because one of my favorite aspects of an MMO is finding a new dungeon to explore and clear with a group. But for me personally, I found the dungeons in this game to be lackluster at best. There's no mystery to them, there's no cool music, there's no atmosphere, there's no secret hidden treasure chests or paths to find. They don't even have any cool names or anything. Compared to other MMO dungeons, these are just here, and they serve their purpose of simply existing. But it would have been cool to see something larger and more epic. For example, in Lost Ark, you have this one dungeon where you're on a hoverboard dodging razor blades getting shot at you from both sides. It's pretty epic. Albion might have cooler, more intense dungeons as you get farther in the game, but from what I experienced in the early game, this is all I could find. A big thing going for Albion is the PvP. This game has full loot PvP in certain areas, meaning if you get caught with your pants down and someone ends up killing you, they are free to help themselves to your entire inventory as they see fit. You either love this or you hate it. Honestly, I myself was too spooked to even dive deep into PvP at all, because I was simply too afraid to lose all of my hard-earned gear that I worked so hard and grinded so many trees for. And yeah, it is true, you can just buy everything off the player market, but it does eventually add up. There is a low commitment arena PvP mode where you're able to battle and practice against other players without worrying about losing any gear you have. But sadly, you need to be at a certain item level to be able to even compete. And apparently after 13 hours of gameplay I still wasn't high enough, so I wasn't even able to try. Just like in RuneScape, crafting on the other hand is extremely safe and relaxing. You could spend countless hours grinding and gathering materials just to sell in the player auction house and make an absolute fortune, because people are probably often getting killed and looted for their entire inventory. The economy is booming in this game, leaving the auction house packed to the brim with whatever item you are searching for. It is a minor nitpick, but I find it very strange that Albion doesn't have any music that sets it apart or stands out. Just by this setting alone, I believe this game could have easily pulled off having a more epic OST similar to the soundtrack of Dragon Quest, with trumpets and all that good medieval stuff with the horns and the trumpets and the trombones. I don't know why I have a tradition of completely shitting on every game I play on this channel. I didn't mean to make it sound like I hate Albion. I actually enjoyed myself for the time that I played it. I just prefer to be honest in my videos, and I believe it's mainly the lack of immersion and the combat system that is holding me back from getting really addicted to this game. But I can still enjoy the game for what it is, and I definitely recommend this if you're into similar games like RuneScape and RuneScape. I appreciate you guys for watching as always. You, the viewer, are the real legend out here. Don't forget, and if you liked the video, please consider subscribing. It means so much and helps the channel out so much. And if you're also feeling extra spicy, you could, I don't know, smash the like button and all that. Oh yeah! See you next time, gamers. And this time, it'll be sooner than later. Ciao, ciao.